Welcome, beautiful buddies and gentlemen family. This is a brand new series on the YouTube channel. You may get, bad, how can I say, former thoughts of the series I used to have back in the day. Most notably, Int and Chill. Int and Chill was basically me, Int, chilling with you guys. This one is going to be very similar without me actually doing anything at all. The only thing I am going to be doing is discussing with you guys. And as you can see by the title and by the thumbnail, it's called What's on Your Mind. So just going to be reading, talking with you guys. And I would want you guys to basically tell me what's on your mind. Is it a football question? Do you guys want to ask me who do you think is the Ballon d'Or contender? I will answer that. Is it maybe a personal thing? Because I've received a lot of motivational seeking questions. For example, what should I do with this? What should I do with that? And yeah, people have often asked me for my advice and so on. And this series right here will strictly be me giving my advice to you guys, and then it could be a worldwide problem or something. You don't know how this is gonna be fixed. What do I think about this? What do you think about that? And as you all know, I have a high intellectual and a high understanding and knowledge in most sectors of talking points in the world, and I would like to share that with you guys. And this series, let's see, maybe a couple of times a week, maybe every single day. It all depends on the dependencies. And it's going to be 30 minutes exactly. So as soon as we pass the 30-minute mark, I will be ending the stream. That's been the introduction. Welcome everyone to What's on Your Mind. Welcome Slade. What's up, Trucks? Your opinion on Nations League draw. I haven't seen, has there been a recent Nations League draw? Nations League draw. Yeah, there was a recent Nations League draw. Thanks so much for letting me know here. Group A1, France, Italy, Belgium, Turkey, Germany, Netherlands, Serbia, Greece, Spain, Croatia, England, Czechia, Portugal, Denmark, Norway, Wales. Yeah, sure. I mean, Ireland versus Israel. Let's go Ireland. Let's go Ireland. Obviously, one of the most pro-Palestinian countries there. For the people that don't know why the Republic of Ireland are so supportive of the Palestinian cause is obviously, if you're oppressed, you know how other people are oppressed, and you can put yourself in their shoes and in their situation. And obviously, Ireland, I mean, you could maybe still say till this day, but just mildly compared to before, we're massively oppressed by the United Kingdom back in the day, and England. England even, created a famine in Ireland because they opposed, being part of their country and so on. And whilst that was going on, the Ottoman Empire and the Ottoman Emperor at that time sent aid, a lot of food, despite the United Kingdom being forcefully against it. And ever since then, the Irish people have never forgotten it. Not all of them, but some of it. That's why if you search for Celtic, even before October 7th, they've always shown constant support for the Palestinian cause, having multiple Palestinian flags in the Celtic away ground, in the Celtic fan base and everything. So, yeah, you know what, let's actually tweet about that. But honestly, apart from that, I couldn't care less. The Nations League for me, the quarterfinals, semifinals, and final were really juicy last year, and that's what I'll be waiting for. And now we can't really predict or anything because there's going to be a draw and everything. Let me see. Israel, Ireland. Maybe somebody has tweeted about it. You know what? Let's focus on here. We have 30 minutes. Are you looking to talk about only football or also politics? I'm here to talk about every single thing that needs to be talked about. So if it's football that you feel needs to be talked about, we'll talk about football. If it's politics you feel that needs to be talked about, we'll talk politics. Obviously, for majority of the streams we do talk football. So maybe this one, we try to keep it more about life and so on. But if it's football you want to talk about, we'll talk about football. This is what's on your mind, not what's on my mind. Did you wake up 5 minutes before the stream? I woke up 1 hour-ish before the stream. What do you think of someone who supports 3 teams at the same time? Say someone on X being very passionate about it. I think it's illogical. You can like different teams, but saying that you support different teams, is very difficult, as you're supposed to be tribalistic or somewhat tribalistic when you support a football team. See it as the team. You should only be one team. So yeah, I think you can like different multiple teams, but you can't be passionate and support multiple teams. The only way I could see it is like if you have a big team you support and then a local team you support. Like I have a local team here in Sweden I support, and then I have a big team in Paris Saint-Germain that I support. If you can have a dream summer transfer window and keep that squad for 3 seasons, I would sign Julian Alvarez. I would love to have Upamecano. I mean, you're saying dream, so give me Alvarez, Upamecano, and maybe Ulisse. Top 5 teams of all time. Not in order. Top 5 teams in the world of all time. You got Pep's Barca. You got Zidane's Madrid. Again, it's very difficult for me to say previous teams. You got Ancelotti's AC Milan. You got Irigo Sacchi, or whatever his name was, AC Milan in the 80s, 90s with Van Basten and those. But I mean, I didn't watch them, so I'm going to just pick teams from my time. Madrid Zidane, Pep Barca, PSG Lucho. Maybe Barca Lucho. Pep City. Horaquito, just as it gets probably Trump FIFA antics together and the amount of people from USA with no ball knowledge. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. Prediction for tonight's Copa del Rey game? Let me see what stadium it is in. Barcelona. Ooh, Atletico Madrid Stadium. Maybe a 3-2 Barca. If Spain win the World Cup, do you think Yamal will win the Ballon d'Or? I think it's very likely that would be the outcome. Obviously, it would depend on the season. Obviously, Yamal has done great so far this season, but the season will depend on what he does towards the end of the season. He's already won the Supercopa de España. They will most likely win the Copa del Rey as well if they're not arrogant. They will most likely win La Liga. So there you have another domestic treble, which obviously will help his cause. The Champions League will be very crucial. He could potentially face a PSG early on. If they get knocked out there, they will obviously damage his PR for the Ballon d'Or this year. But I don't see them facing PSG. And even if they face, he's probably still going to have 2 great games, just like Inter, and still, reminiscent about it. Obviously, it'll be less than last year. But obviously, World Cup is the big thing when it comes to the Ballon d'Or this year. And Spain, when you look at that team, especially when we looked at it at the Euros, it's so Yamal-centric. It's become even more Yamal-centric ever since the Euros. So, like, if Spain win, it's not going to be like, oh, is Pedri going to get the prop? Is Fabian Ruiz going to get the prop? Is Nico Williams No, he's going to be Yamal. So, yeah, I do think if Spain win the World Cup, Yamal will win the Ballon d'Or and become the youngest Ballon d'Or winner to ever do that. Yo, what's up, Sideline Cinema? What's up, Sochi? What did I think of Radcliffe comments? I mean, look, I agree with Radcliffe comments in the sense that mass immigration failed, because mass immigration has never worked, was never supposed to work. I'm an Algerian, I'm a Swede, and if you told me Algeria would welcome in, I don't know, millions of people from a different country, no. And I think mass immigration was never supposed to work. You got to look at it as a company. The fertility rate was dropping massively in Europe, and the people that rule Europe, the leaders of Europe, the Zionistic leaders, all they care about is GDP and profit. So they don't care that the negative aspects is going to bring. They do not care that especially the capital cities, the ethnic population is a minority in them. They don't care about that. All they care about is maximizing profits. And these immigrants are coming in as low cost, low labor. They've also dropped, if you look at, for example, the minimum wage UK 1990 to 2025, 360. Obviously, it's gone up, but if you consider inflation and so on, I think it's still below where it should be and where it used to be. So that's another thing with mass immigration. It lowered the minimum wage in many of these countries that have imported in a lot of mass immigration. The thing, though, one thing I hate from the right wing, from people like Radcliffe, from people that mention it, is that they blame it on the immigrants. You have to understand, many of these immigrants, all they're looking for is better opportunity. And yes, the media will always try to, outline the bad immigrants, the bad effects of immigration and so on. But majority of the people that come in as immigrants are just people looking for better opportunities. We as humans, we live by survival instincts. So I've never let the propaganda and the hate and all of that fuel hate inside of me towards the immigrants and so on. I think they're just looking for better opportunities. The problem I'm looking at is obviously the leaders of these countries, because they are the ones that have opened the doors completely wide open, not doing any checks, not caring about the potential effects and side effects this will have on the population and everything. So the only person and the only people I put blame to, I put hatred to regarding this, is the Zionist elite. And this was always their plan, to dilute the European blood. They call it a conspiracy theory when it's obviously a fact. And it's very ironic. It comes from Radcliffe, who is a Jew, obviously. And they were the ones behind this. I want to tell the people here, don't quit. If February didn't, March, April, May, don't stop. We're going back to back, Liam. I could see that. I'm Mexican, bro. I support multiple teams in Europe, but I'm die-hard fan from Monterrey in Mexico. European football is the highest level, so obviously I need to watch it. Spain, Madrid, France, PSG. So if PSG face Madrid, well, who would you support? When the USA terrorist military invade Iran and it falls, what will it lead to? If America invades Iran and it fails, it will basically it will obviously have massive ripple effects, but it will basically tell the entire world that America is not the hegemony anymore that it used to be. I mean, already this potential Iran invasion, it has received massive criticism from other major nations like China, like Russia, major nations in the Middle East like Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Obviously, the effects this will have on the oil prices and the oil market will also be massive. I think a lot of European nations have finally started waking up that this is not in their own interest. This is strictly in America / Israel's interest. So I think it's already receiving a lot of backlash. One example you could give to this, but not really, is the Suez Canal crisis. The Suez Canal crisis occurred after World War II, when Abdel Gamad, the former president of Egypt, nationalized the Suez Canal. Egypt and France, who still thought they were world superpowers at that point, tried to invade and take it back, obviously with the help of the filthy, illegal apartheid states of Israel. And they did, manage to win victories and take over the canal. But then America put massive pressure on the UK and France to leave. They obviously left due to the immense pressure from America, also the immense pressure from the Soviet Union at that point. And the ripple effect of that was France and the UK became self-aware that they're not the global superpowers anymore. America will still be a global superpower if it invades Iran and fails to achieve its goals and milestones, and it fails the invasion. But the main point will be it will be considered not as a hegemony anymore, and we'll be living in a multi-bipolar, multi-superpower world. We've been living in American hegemony ever since the fall of the Soviet Union, and even before the fall of the Soviet Union, maybe since the 70s, because America has been by far the strongest nation in the world since then. But since then, obviously, a lot of nations have become dissatisfied with America being the police of the world. So that's what would change. I was referring to an earlier question where a guy was asking why he thinks you hate USA. I thought based on earlier vids of True Case. Oh, yeah, US, I hate the state, the government. I mean, it's the biggest terrorist state in human history. The people, I used to hate them more. I hate them less. I see a lot of them as just brainwashed cattle, basically. I love your channel, bro, and I love you as well. Your channel is one of my favorites, and I'm glad I found it. I mean. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it, and I'm very happy you found me. Which party do you support in Sweden? An opinion on Swedish Democrats? Asking this because You are right wing. I'm not right wing. I do not adhere to the political sphere. I have some thoughts that you would consider to be right wing. I have some thoughts that are considered to be left wing. I have some thoughts that are center, because every single human, that's why I've never adhered myself to the political sphere, is because every single human has opinions and values in all single departments. Majority of my values come from Islam, and if you look at Islam, it has values from all departments of the physical sphere, political sphere. I think the political sphere, it tries to put you in a box. You know, when you are with a human, he always wants to put you in a box. Oh, you're a Muslim. Oh, you're an immigrant. Oh, you're a PSG supporter. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're this. You're racist. You're this. They always want to label you. They always want to put you in a box. They always want to put a title above you. And I consider that as a human to be completely stupid. I mean, I'm not an animal. I'm not someone that only adheres to... I mean, the only thing I adhere to is obviously God and his values. But I mean, that is God. That is the creator. That is the essence of humanity and everything. So, yeah, my answer to that is I don't vote. I haven't voted. I would not vote in the coming election because I consider it to be very low IQ. If you do vote, you're a very low IQ person, or you're just brainwashed and for some reason believe in the system. So, in my opinion about the Swedish Democrats, I don't really have an opinion of them like that. They're just like every other party. Yes, they may say more radical, outlandish stuff, but they're just part of the scheme. They're just part of the circus, which I do not adhere to. It's been a while. Is Draw the first ever pitch player with Filipino genes? I'm following him. I hope he plays for the Philippines national team. Linus, he's already played in multiple under 20s for Spain, so the likelihood of him choosing Philippines is looking unlikely at the moment. But hopefully for your sake, and hopefully for whoever parent is that is Filipino, he chooses Filipino. But yeah, it's been a while, man, and happy you're here. Where are you living right now, and for what reason did you choose to live there? I was born in Sweden, so I've just been continuing my life here in Sweden. Do you really think Florentino Perez has the leverage to turn the UCL into the Super League? I mean, he's alone. You have to understand, the Super League, Perez was the face of it, but the people that have been pushing for the Super League, it's not Perez only, it's everybody. All the big clubs, even the clubs that are abstaining and against it, like Bayern München and PSG, they would obviously want the Super League as well. They become more powerful, they become more rich. And also when you look into when the Super League was announced in April 2021, an American company, Chase Morgan or something, invested over 3.5 billion and was going to give every single club, I think, between 300 to 450 million euros. Those are the people behind the Super League. Perez is just the face of it. He's the one that will receive the backlash. He was basically sacrificed for the Super League ID and then eventually the Champions League transitioning into. Why is the UAE and such a filthy Zionistic state helping to kill brother Islamic nations? Are they Jews hiding behind being a Muslim? The best word to describe them is a munafiqeen. Munafiqeen, basically people that you consider to be part of you but are not part of you. That's what the UAE is. That's what a state is. That's why a lot of their people believe in, unfortunately. You also have the Moroccan monarchy, for example, that is massively Zionistic as well, supportive of Israel, have had multiple military exercises with the IDF that is currently committing the worst genocide in human history. The UAE has obviously made a military deal with Israel for over billions and billions of dollars. So yeah, the UAE are just people, as God said, people that sold their dunya for money. So they sold basically their religion for power and dignity from the West in this life. Do you think the red heifer will be sacrificed this year? From what I've read, the red heifer has already been sacrificed. Could have been fake, could have been true. So yeah. I'm starting school and I wanted to wish you and Tosin good luck. I want to have time to watch you guys, but thank you. I hope your brothers continues to grow in Tosin. Repeating, watch. Busho Romano, good luck with your school and your life endeavors. And yeah, hopefully everything goes well. Do you only consider yourself only Algerian, or do you also welcome your Swedish side? I'm very proud in what I am. and I am 50% Algerian, 50% Swedish. I am as proud as I am Swedish as I am Algerian. You know, a lot of people, especially the ones that are white, 50%, and immigrant 50%, a lot of them, unfortunately, I don't know, do not like their other side, their other part for some reason, which I think is very sad. Um, I don't exactly know the reason for it. I don't know. They think the white side is lame or something. I don't know. It's a very weird analogy and way of thinking. I'm very proud in what I am, what I represent, what my blood is, what my heritage is, was the history behind me being born. So I'm very proud of both my sides equally, both Algerian and Swedish. And I will never, choose between the two. I'm an Indian and I'm pursuing master in medical from USA. Sometimes I get really frustrated as there is a clear favoritism towards the US student. They get promotion even after mediocre projects. I've never been in the work life. I am like that, so I've never understood the racial, gender, and other stuff superiority when it comes to receiving opportunities and so on. So it's sometimes it's a bit difficult for me to put myself in the situation and understand your position. But I'm gonna put myself in that position, and what I would do in that position is I would just accept. Unfortunately, the world is not fair. The world, I mean, if people were fair, we could have made the world more fairer, but the people in power are not fair. The people in power, the world has never been more unequal than it is in 2026 from an economical and a power perspective. The middle class, the lower class has never been poorer, have never had less authority, have never had less freedom, even though they think they have more freedom than they've ever had. I mean, it's so brainwashed, unfortunately. So my answer to you would be, Ayan, is maybe you got to work twice as hard for the same objective as another human, as another brethren in your lineage and so on. So yeah, I would just say work is twice as hard as much. Appreciate it. True viewer. Thoughts on Uyghurs being forbidden to have a Quran and wear hijab and go to the mosque with the Chinese dictatorship and nobody talking about it? It's very unfortunate, how oppression goes under the radar in multiple nations. Obviously, when it comes to the Uyghur situation in China, it's so little that we know of because of the disinformation. And China, unlike, for example, let's say Israel, don't want the world to know about their crimes and their oppression. Even when they're asked about it, they always, move away and everything. And I will tell the Uyghurs the same thing I tell the Palestinians. Fight against your oppressors, stay strong, and know that God has the right path for you. What do you think about upcoming summer window? We must sign Kvara like playing the right side as well. That could be an interesting idea. I think when it comes to the summer transfer window, I mostly want to go into this, finish off the season, and then we can take a look at what Paris Saint-Germain's objective for the summer transfer should be and so on. Yo, what's good, Garinsha? Cheeky live. Yeah, cheeky live, cheeky new series. I'm going to see how people enjoy it. So yeah, appreciate it. Last thing, Mo. Last year, I was really going through and you posting content made me feel better all along with us winning, you said. I really appreciate you, man. I really do. Bashir Romano, once again, that is very appreciable to read and hear. Yeah, I hope I can have as much positive and inspirational effect on everybody else watching this channel. So yeah, very happy for him, man. Very happy that you are in a better position, and keep going, man. Keep going. The cycle never stops. The cycle never stops. Your take on the Epstein files, though, and the fact that there might be more cases like this, but the people in power who don't give a fuck about the victims, which still gives me chills. Honestly, when it comes to the Epstein files, I'm not as focused on the Epstein files as much. First of all, this is something that comes from the government. Second of all, this is something the government have had for, I think, 5 years, that they are purposefully posting. Because the thing is about the Epstein files, it's not just they're posting them in like parts. It's when they're posting them. Every single time the Epstein files have been posted, it's being for a reason. For people to talk about it. So we hide something else. But my main thing when it comes to the Epstein files is majority of this stuff I've known for a while, and it's been very easy to know. The majority of the Zionist leaders are Satan worshippers and commit the most heinous and horrific crimes. This has been well known for a while. It just People are afraid to believe in it. People are afraid to talk about it because people will label them as conspiracy theorists. You know, a lot of humans have this sheep mentality where, you know, you want to fit in. And if everybody else says it's fake, you eventually believe it's fake, which is obviously a very weak-minded thinking. Um, yeah, no, the people in power will stay in power as long as we believe that they're stronger than us. The quicker we unite, the quicker we understand that we're stronger than them, especially in masses, especially united. That's why they want to divide us as much as possible. So yeah, the more we get united, the more we work together, the better future for us. Have I ever been to Israel? Absolutely no. We think of buying Endrick. I really like Endrick, but it's an impossibility with Madrid being his parent club. Wa alaikum salam. I'm gonna have a hot take, but selling Barcola might be a great thing for PSG only for San Diamonde, his litters. Yeah, I think Diamonde is probably the perfect replacement if Barcola was to be sold. I still want Barcola to stay. I still consider Barcola to be a better and a higher potential player like Diamonde. So, yeah. So, buddy, sources are saying that Madrid will go out for Vitinha. I think Vitinha would go all out for Vitinha if there was an opportunity, but they know there is not an opportunity, so that's why they've been calling all of their Zionistic media mouthpiece outlets to put pressure on Vitinha. Even in some reports you read, they say Madrid know it's impossible. If anything's gonna happen, Vitinha will have to reach out. Like, it's like a guy that wants a girl, and instead of walking up to her because he knows she has a boyfriend, he wants her to cheat on her boyfriend. Like, such a satanic club. Yo, I love back from India. Sweet Aroy. Hate watch tonight? No hate watch. I will watch football tonight. I'm 24 years of age. What's up, Leo Bigme? Who like better Madrid Barca? I don't have any allegiance to any football club apart from Paris Saint-Germain, Saura, and the IK, so yeah. Barca missing Rafinha, Pedro, and Rashford today, but I still think Barca is going to give a good game today. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, great teams all will turn up for great moments. FC Barcelona has obviously had won 16 out of 17 games, but this is obviously a game to differentiate yourself and define how good you actually are. It's a very big game. It's a very important game. Atletico Madrid have not been in good form this season, have not been in good form in recent time. Their star player, Juan Alvarez, has been in terrible form in his basically this entire season, apart from like the first 2-3 months. So it would be a point for him to prove. So no, I still think Barca will be good, but be interesting to see how good they will be potentially. A bit like, but it's a new series I'm launching, and I want to see how well it does. And it's gonna be, whenever I do these episodes, it's gonna be very surprising. Yeah. First serious club without Olise, Kvara Dembuz Olise, all can create, all can finish, all can defend. Again, Olise getting him to Paris Saint-Germain would be very difficult as he's very strongly contracted and strongly positioned at Bayern München. Maybe in the future. If Sweden was in a war with Algeria, who'd you fight for? Honestly, I would look for peace between the two nations. But my major thing would be the reason for the war and who's the bad guy. Who tried to protect their people, to protect their nation from this war not happening? But I'm trying not to even include myself in the war, as it would be very emotional for me. Barca loses today, doesn't really matter. Well, Rafa and Pedro are back for the home game. Atletico are cooked. Yeah, I mean, if Barca loses, obviously the biggest thing would be to not lose by a huge goal scoring margin, so that you can bring it back in the second game. But I mean, Atletico Madrid is not a team you want to try to make a comeback against, because they're very good at playing that way. You know, when they come usually to face FC Barcelona, the game is 0-0, or you guys even take an early lead. And that doesn't suit Atletico Madrid's style of football, because then they have to have the ball, they need to create attacks. That suits Barca perfectly with the spacing behind. But if they have like a 1-0, the worst thing, obviously, like a 2+0 lead, it could be really difficult for Barca potentially. And I think Atletico Madrid would really want to win this Copa del Rey. Barcelona won it last year. Their main decision has been the Champions League, go back-to-back in the La Liga as well. So I could potentially see Barca, just from a mental perspective, not care as much as they should. My thoughts on Sir Jim. If you go back in the stream, I've already discussed my thoughts on Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Well, people, we have reached the end of the stream. As I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, you actually go back and watch the beginning of the stream, the first 1.5 minute, where I made the introduction for this series and how it's going to be looking and how the future of the series is going to be looking. Hopefully, everyone has enjoyed episode 1 of What's on Your Mind. That's been from boy PSGINT. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed the stream. And as usual, allez, Paris.